Hey, what's up guys? It's me here. Today I wanted to talk to you about the business of merchandise. Because if you think about it, selling shirts is a huge part of the WWE business. I mean, they sell replica championship belts, action figures, Halloween masks. But when it comes down to it, t-shirts are probably the biggest seller at WWE events. The top stars in the company can shift thousands of shirts in a matter of hours, which really shows how big of a draw they are. During his time in WWE, he was mostly portrayed as a lower mid-card heel, but he had one of the most loyal fan bases in the entire company. This is still one of the best-selling shirts in all of WWE, even though he doesn't wrestle full-time anymore. He's only competed in 3 matches over the last 10 years. The Rock is still one of the most recognized athletes in the world. That Brahma Bull brand continues to sell big time. The moment they bring out the Latino Heat shirt, they could sell it 1,000 times within a few minutes. The reason being that Eddie Guerrero is still loved by many people in the WWE universe. He may be gone, but he will never be forgotten. Now this one might be a little controversial, because I do and really see Stone Cold-esque merchandise selling as well as some of the others on this list. Now this one should come as no surprise to anyone. Hulk Hogan is arguably the most recognizable professional wrestler of all time. His face is plastered on everything from bobbleheads to Halloween masks to VHS tapes, which I guess aren't really a thing anymore. But the point is, you can't go wrong with Hulk Hogan. No matter what you put his name and face on, it's bound to sell. But at the same time, it's hard to deny that he is one of the biggest legends in WWE history. That's why I feel as though his merchandise does sell pretty well. To some people, this one may come as a surprise. But when it comes to merchandise sales, no one does it better than the Ultimate Warrior. Despite only competing in WWE for 8 years, the Ultimate Warrior is still one of the best-selling superstars in company history. His colorful attire, face paint, and crazy entrance made him a fan favorite. And to this day, people still buy his merchandise because they remember how awesome he was. In fact, the Ultimate Warrior is the only superstar in WWE history whose merchandise was featured in 2 different decades. And that's a testament to his impact on the company. He's got a huge group of fans that will buy anything he's selling. His figure is one of the most sought after in all of WWE. The crowd loved him. They would cheer him during his matches, and they would always buy his merchandise. At one point, he was even selling more merchandise than John Cena, which just goes to show how over he was with the crowd. Triple H is another guy whose merchandise is a hot seller. Game is one of the most successful WWE superstars of all time. That's why people want to buy his merchandise. They want to be a part of the elite. Who do you think has the best-selling WWE merchandise? Do you think there are any other legends or current superstars? Who should have made the list? Let me know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Not to mention, Triple H is also a backstage authority figure. So he's always around on WWE TV. That makes his merchandise that much more accessible. There's been a lot of debate over the years about whether or not Roman Reigns is actually over with the fans. You can put him in a match on any given night, and within seconds, all of his shirts will be sold out. The Nation Leader is one of the most popular WWE superstars of all time, and he has a huge group of fans that will buy anything he's selling. That's why his merchandise is always a hot seller. People just love the Deadman. They love his spooky character, his iconic hat and sunglasses. And no matter where you go, you're bound to find someone wearing an Undertaker shirt. And I'm not going to dive into that right now. I'm not going to tell you whether or not he is or he isn't. All I'm going to do is point to the fact that his merchandise sells like hotcakes. It doesn't matter if people hate him, like him, or anything in between. They'll buy his shirt. It's all that matters. In fact, a superstar's merch sales often determine how over they are with the crowd. Take Braun Strowman, for example. He was never really considered a main event talent by WWE, even though he was a monster and an incredibly talented athlete. The Heartbreak Kid is a legend in the wrestling industry, and his impact on the sport will never be forgotten. That's why people still buy his shirts today. It's got one of the most recognizable theme songs in WWE history. And I feel as though that song alone brings people back to the Attitude Era when they see it live. One great example of this is Zack Ryder. Throughout most of his WWE career, he was just kind of there. He never really achieved main event status. But he had a very dedicated group of fans who always bought his merchandise and supported him. In fact, At one point, he was even voted the most popular wrestler in the entire company, despite never winning a world title. So it really goes to show that the fans love him. But one thing holding him back was that he didn't sell many shirts. If the audience isn't buying his merch, then it's hard for WWE to justify pushing him as a top guy. The same can be said for so many other wrestlers throughout history, guys like Damien Sandow, who were arguably more talented than some of the bigger stars, but they just didn't connect with the audience the way the others did. And without that connection, their merchandise sales suffered, which made it hard for them to get the big opportunities. Now, on the flip side, there are superstars who are considered lower on the totem pole, so to speak, who have some of the best-selling merchandise, simply because they have a devoted fan base. One of my favorite examples of this, however, is Rusev. But anyways, today we're going to take a look at the top 10 best-selling WWE merch of all time. Number 10, Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat. Number 9, The Rock. The Great One is still a huge draw when it comes to WWE merchandise. No, 8. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief. Number 7, John Cena. John Cena is another guy whose merchandise still flies off the shelves. Number 6, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Another guy whose merchandise is a hot commodity is Shawn Michaels. No. 5. Undertaker, the Dead Man. Similar to Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker is another legend whose impact on WWE will never be forgotten. No. 4. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake. No. 3. Hulk Hogan, the Immortal One. No. 2. Triple H, the Game. And finally, no. 1. The Ultimate Warrior, the Ultimate Utility. So that's my list.